The night a soldier returned from death. 1944. The bloody Battle of France. When Sergeant Michael Thomas opened his eye, all he could see was darkness and the silence of death surrounding him. His body was lying in a crater, buried under dirt and a pile of corpses. Was he dead? Or was this some part of hell? Just 24 hours ago, everything was different. 6 months after D-Day months had passed since the Battle of Normandy ended, but the war was far from over. The American 101st Airborne Division received orders to liberate a small French village called La Roche from Nazi occupation. Michael was a seasoned soldier. He had fought battles in Africa, Italy, and Normandy. But what was about to happen that night would become his most terrifying experience. "Thomas, you'll enter the village from the eastern side with your team," Captain Richards said, pointing at the map. "According to intelligence reports, there are only 20 to 25 German soldiers there. Easy mission." Michael looked at his comrades, Jack, Danny, Robert, and young Tommy, who was only 19 years old. This was Tommy's first real combat. "Don't be scared, Tommy." Michael put his hand on his shoulder. "Just stay behind me. Everything will be fine." But Michael had no idea how wrong he was. That fatal night, at 2 a.m., 5 soldiers quietly moved toward the village in the darkness. It was a moonlit night, but clouds kept covering the moon. The air smelled of gunpowder and death. As soon as they reached the village perimeter, there was complete silence. Too much silence. "Something's wrong," Jack whispered. Suddenly, boom, an explosion, then another, a third. "It's a trap! Fall back!" Michael yelled, but it was too late. Machine gun fire erupted from all directions. The German army had surrounded them. Not 20 to 25, but over 200 soldiers. The intelligence report was wrong. This was a carefully planned ambush. "Take cover! Take cover!" Michael shouted, pushing Tommy. But in the next moment, a bullet hit Tommy in the chest. His eyes widened. Blood poured from his mouth, and he fell to the ground. "No! Tommy!" Danny was blown away by a grenade explosion. Robert's scream was heard. Then everything went silent. Michael and Jack hid behind a ruin. Bullets were tearing through the wall. "We need to get out of here," Jack screamed. "Look there! That old church?" Michael pointed. "From there we can radio for help." Both ran. Bullets rained around them. Jack was hit by a bullet but kept running. Only 50 feet left to reach the church door. 40, 30, 20. Bang! Jack fell. A bullet hit his leg. Michael turned back, grabbed him, and dragged him into the church. Trapped in the church. The church was old and broken. There were holes in the walls, but it could still provide some protection. Michael quickly pulled out the radio. Base, this is Thomas. We're surrounded. Need immediate assistance. Repeat, need immediate assistance." Only static noise, then a broken voice. "Thomas, until morning. Can't send help. Defend yourselves." The radio died. No. Michael shook the radio, but nothing happened. "Mike," came Jack's weak voice. "I'm bleeding too much. I don't think..." "Shut up, you'll be fine." Michael tore his shirt and tied it around Jack's leg. Outside, German soldiers' voices were heard. They were surrounding the church. The impossible choice. "We have 2 options," Michael said. "Either we surrender or we die fighting." "American soldiers never surrender." Jack smiled. "But Mike, listen to me. You can survive. There's a window at the back of the church. You can escape." "I can't leave you here. You have to go. Someone has to tell base what's happening here. Otherwise, more soldiers will fall into this trap." Michael knew Jack was right, but leaving his comrade behind, it was impossible. "Go, Mike, now!" Jack raised his rifle. "I'll hold them off." With tears in his eyes, Michael moved toward the window. "Jack, I'll never forget you." "I know, buddy. Now go. Say hello to Truman for me." As Michael jumped out the window, he heard machine gun fire. Jack was fighting. And then, a massive explosion. Jack had detonated his last grenade, taking several German soldiers with him. Hunted in the forest, Michael was running through the dark forest. Bullets were shattering trees. German soldiers were chasing him. He kept running. Suddenly, the ground disappeared. He fell into a ravine, about 20 feet down. Thud! His head hit a rock. Everything went black, in death's embrace. When he regained consciousness, dirt was falling from above. What was happening? Then he realized shells were falling. The German army was bombing the ravine. An explosion collapsed the ravine wall. Michael was buried. Dirt, rocks, and bodies. German and American soldiers' corpses were already in the ravine. Michael couldn't breathe. He was dying. This was the end. But then, a small space formed in the dirt where air was coming through. He stayed alive, but buried under corpses. Buried alive for hours. He lay there. Darkness, silent, death. Questions swirled in his mind. Was anyone looking for him? Would he die here? Would his family ever know what happened to him? He thought about his daughter Sarah, only 5 years old. He had promised he would come back. He had to keep that promise. Michael tried to move. A little dirt shifted, then more. Slowly, very slowly, he began to free his hand. The pain was unbearable. His ribs felt broken, but he couldn't stop. 6 hours. He dug for 6 hours. 6 hours filled with dirt, blood, and tears. And then light, the dim light of morning. Michael emerged from the pile of corpses, covered in blood, exhausted but alive. The final mission. But the danger wasn't over yet. He was still behind enemy lines. He had to travel 15 miles to get back to his army. And he had critical information, the real number of German troops, their position. This information could save hundreds of American soldiers' lives. He walked, fell, got up, walk again. Along the way, he saw German patrol unit. He hid, waited, then moved forward. Once, a German soldier passed right by him. Michael stood frozen behind a tree, holding his breath. One sound, one movement, and it would all be over. The soldier moved on. Heading home 48 hours later, Michael reached the American lines. When soldiers saw him, they couldn't believe it. They thought the entire team had been killed. "Ghost! He's a ghost!" a young soldier shouted. "No," Michael said. "I'm Michael Thomas, Sergeant 101st Airborne, and I have critical information." Based on the information, the American Army changed its strategy. When they attacked La Roche, they were prepared. The German trap failed. The village was liberated. Hundreds of American soldiers' lives were saved because of Michael. Epilogue. Coming home. After the war ended in 1945, Michael returned home to New York. When his daughter Sarah opened the door and saw her father, she ran and hugged him. "Daddy, you came back. You kept your promise." Tears filled Michael's eyes. "Yes, sweetheart, I kept my promise." With help from Jack, Tommy, Danny, and Robert, they were all heroes. That night, Michael wrote in his diary, "I died that night, but my comrades' sacrifice brought me back to life. I'll live for them, for those who couldn't come back." This isn't just my story. It's the story of all who gave their lives for freedom. Who are the real heroes? Michael received the Silver Star Medal for bravery, but he always said, "The real heroes are those who didn't come back. I was just a messenger of their courage." And that's the truth. In war, there are no winners, only those who survive and those who don't.